Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, July 14th. On the impact map, we notice the larger area of thunderstorm activity continuing to push up from the south. The southern periphery will be quite wet. Some places 1 to 2 inches of rain and flash flooding possible in some of the canyon areas, but on the northern periphery, the drier it gets, and we still expect to see a mix of dry and wet as you head, especially towards and north of the I-80 corridor, maybe even the I-50 corridor. Similar story for tomorrow. Activity begins to wane towards the end of the week. We'll have to watch for some isolated lightning. Again, a mix of wet and dry, but not too wet, up into the mountains of Idaho. And again, those afternoon Sierra front winds will be kicking up the next 2 days as well. Got plenty of smoke on the horizon, and on the left near the surface this morning, you can see where it's laying all down. And once the afternoon kicks in, the mixing and the upper level winds, you can see where it's transporting. And almost like the state line here, it's into Idaho mostly. The southern part of the Great Basin starts to clean out just a little bit. Same thing with the upper level smoke. You can see the fire smoke laying down here in the morning, and then once the upper level winds kick in, again, most of the transport up in Idaho, thinner as you head further south. Lightning quite extensive here on the right-hand side, especially along and south of the I-80 corridor, thousands of strikes. On the left, however, we do see quite a bit of wetness, especially up into southern Nevada. These yellow areas are ½ inch to 1 inch of rain, and some of those red dots up to 2 inches of rain in some localized pockets. That is good news, but you can see how drier it is the further north you go. And so this stuff up here in the northern periphery is where we have the best chance of holdovers. You can see with the lightning, activity's been picking up. New fire starts in the red, existing fires in the yellow in all quadrants right now. And this is the 3-day precipitation total. So you can see how much it's wetted down here. These areas in yellow to red that we see through here are anywhere from a ½ inch to as much as 2 inches of rainfall. And again, it gets a little drier as you head further north. ERCs, and keep in mind this is at 1 p.m. yesterday, so this is before some of those rains hit. You can see how critically dry things are here in central areas of Utah and pushing up into Idaho. This area of the Arizona Strip and southwest Utah probably will show much moderation when we run the program again this evening. It'll incorporate the rains of the last 24 hours, dry up there in northwestern Nevada as well. On the satellite imagery, you see a brief break. Monsoonal moisture kind of splits. Part of it heads east into Colorado. Part of it drifts southwards into Arizona. We still have enough moisture where things will flare up this afternoon, but also some sun hitting those areas that we had lightning. So have to keep an eye on that. Still clear up in Idaho. Some of those fires going on. They'll have dry burning conditions next couple of days. You see on the left the dryness set in there. And you see where the moisture develops this afternoon across central areas of Nevada, Utah, and down towards the Colorado border. However, we are expecting wetter storms, areas in the green and even into the yellow. No high risk. You can see where the lightning thunderstorm activity is here on the left across the southern half of Utah and parts of Nevada. You can see the humidities, though, in the 20s through here. The drier stuff here we'll have to watch in the fringes up in Nevada and Utah. That's where things could continue to play a role. Some gusty afternoon winds off the Sierra front. Otherwise, what you see here, and we'll have a lot of this, are these downburst winds, briefly 30 to 50 miles per hour in the vicinity of thunderstorms. Have to watch those. Also, some northwest winds pushing in off the Uintas, where they did have some recent lightning. So I'll have to keep an eye on that as well. The humidities there will be in the teens. Now for tomorrow, trough low pressure over the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Moisture gets pushed out a bit further east where we see these green blips through here. So again, we're not calling for high risk. A lot of those areas have been moistened up a little bit, or the humidity, as you can see, will be in the 20% range. But you can see how much drier it gets just to the west. And still some lightning possibilities out there. Also some lightning possibilities up in the mountains of central Idaho. I'll have to watch this a little bit, be a mix of wet and dry, but the humidity's there in the teens. You can see the afternoon wind starting to pick up, not just off the Sierra front, but across a good portion of Nevada. Some of these areas have had lightning, so we'll see how that plays out. Also up in Idaho. Friday, deep trough low pressure off the British Columbia coast. Winds increasing in some areas, even into western Nevada. Drier air pushing in. You can see still some lingering thunderstorm activity one more day, as well as up here in Idaho, but the dry humidities. And notice the winds a bit more in that orange to dark green shade pushing up through northern Nevada, actually through a good portion of Nevada. So I would call those 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, also in the Snake River Plain. So again, with the humidities drying out and the winds picking up, New starts could start moving. 3-day precip totals, you can see the heaviest amounts across the Utah mountains to the south and into the Arizona Strip. Further down the road, Saturday, high pressure control. The moisture briefly pushes out. You can see how much we're starting to dry out on the significant fire potential. Same thing on Sunday, but the way the high pushes in, it starts rotating more moisture up along the California-Nevada border. And I'll have to watch that Monday. That could be our next lightning event. We have not high-risked anything yet because of model uncertainty that far out, but if it continues that way, we'll have to keep an eye on that for Monday and for Tuesday, as well as lightning most likely returns to much of the Great Basin. 7-day precip totals, you can see the heaviest stuff to the south. 8 to 14 day, the hottest and driest stuff will be to the north. You can see that push of monsoonal moisture pushing kind of more westwards into Nevada and everywhere. So increase in lightning, but also probably in southern areas, increase in rainfall as well. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.